So I've decided that I am not going to be picking up the Osmo Action 6, at least not yet. So much like you guys, or I'm sure a lot of you guys, I've certainly been pondering this, and you know, it's always tempting when DJI puts out a new camera. Now, I'll be honest, I am pretty excited, at least for the prospect of having a larger sensor in the Action 6, as well as this variable aperture lens. But you know, the first and possibly main reason that I've decided not to buy the Action 6 is just the fact that I frankly do not need another small camera. I mean, I've got this one that I'm filming on right now is the Action 5 Pro. I actually have the Extra Edge Pro with me here today for some B-roll. I've got two Action 4s. I recently picked up the Osmo 360. Additionally, I've got, you know, a Pocket 3. I've got a Pocket 3 replica, the Extra Muse. Point being, I don't know that I really need another camera, but the marketing always convinced me that maybe I do. So that is why I've decided that I'm gonna hold off at least for now. Now, another main reason that I decided against this really kind of sealed the deal for me when I found out that the form factor of the Action 6 has changed for the first time in I think 4 generations. We've had, you know, the same form factor with the Action 3, 4, and 5, which means that all of the accessories we have been uniform, which is amazing. With that said, you know, with now 4 of these cameras essentially, I've got a ton of these accessories, and it's been really great to be able to use some of my favorite ones over and over again, you know, and sort of interchangeably with these cameras. So finding out that that means now not only do I need to buy another camera in order to participate in checking this camera out, because of, by the way, as of right now, I'm certainly not sponsored by DJI. If you're listening, DJI, you know, holler at your boy. Point being, it's a lot of money to spend, and I'm grateful that I've got, you know, companies willing to send me occasionally some accessories. Always grateful for that. But truth is, just like you guys, there's a big investment with just the accessories alone. I mean, for instance, right now I'm shooting on this Action 5 here as my vlog camera, and you can see I've got this little small rig case. And you know, I interchangeably use this on all of these little cameras that I have. And then additionally, in my hand here, I've got this little Extra Edge Pro, and Flymile has sent me this really cool grip handle case. And I'd like to be able to use this on the Action 6. In fact, you know, I thought I was gonna be able to. Well, it turns out that's not gonna be the case. And so yeah, I'm gonna hold off for now. So another thing I've been considering when it comes to whether or not I'm picking up this Action 6 is just the uncertainty of what's gonna happen with DJI here in the US. Now, if you don't live in the US and you're watching this video, maybe you're not aware, but here in the United States, we actually don't have any certainty that DJI is going to be, you know, continue to be available here past 2025. There is apparently the requirement from the US government to do some sort of audit that DJI can do in order to remain here. Not gonna get into all the, you know, politics surrounding the, you know, potential concerns, but the fact of the matter is the US hasn't really made it clear exactly what this audit is supposed to consist of. In fact, I'm gonna put a link below if you're here in the US and you'd like to support at least the efforts to make sure that the government gives DJI the chance to do exactly the thing that they're requiring of them. It would really go a long ways, I think, to let your congressperson know. But that said, yeah, we don't really know, you know, what's gonna be happening with DJI past, you know, the end of December here in 2025. And so that means we don't really know how much DJI will support any of the products that we purchase prior to that. You know, hopefully they'll work something out. We just don't know. All right, hopefully you guys won't judge me too much for this one, but one of the reasons I decided not to buy the Action 6 kind of goes in contrast to my last point. In fact, kind of goes against it a little bit, is that I am holding out for the Pocket 4. And despite all the uncertainty that we have about DJI going forward here in the US, and despite the fact that I have too many cameras already, that is a camera I've been anticipating for so long that I've basically already decided that I'm getting that whenever it comes out. And here in the last week, maybe or two, we've been hearing some rumors that it's gonna be coming out here potentially before the end of December. In fact, I think it's gonna be before Christmas if the rumors I'm hearing are true. I've heard a date, December 23rd, so make a note. But that said, I'm gonna be paying some good money for that camera and taking the risk on that. And so I guess that's where I'm gonna put all my money and risk when it comes to another DJI product before the end of 2025. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Are you more excited for the Action 6 or the Pocket 4? So another thing I've been thinking about is really, honestly, just letting some other influencers and consumers out there test this new product with a lot of these new features. I guess I don't necessarily want to be the guinea pig, and unless I'm getting the free product, not at my own expense, I suppose. And so I will say that with the Osmo 360, for instance, I was a little bit disappointed, not in the camera. The camera is great. I think it looks incredible. But really in the features, specifically with the Windows version of the DJI Studio, it was not advertised to be missing key features like the active tracking and the ability to get, the Premiere Pro plugin use for the Windows. So all that to say, I guess I want to kind of let other people feel through how these new features are going to work out, when it comes to this larger sensor or the variable aperture lens. And here's the reality. I have been somebody, as far as the Action series cameras go, that's been getting the next generation almost a generation behind. So I actually just picked up this Action 5 Pro maybe 2 weeks ago, probably. Same with this Extra Edge Pro, which is, essentially the same camera. And so when I picked up the Action 4s, I think it was, I don't know, probably 2 months before the Action 5 Pro came out. So I'm totally used to being kind of, last one to get the coolest Action series camera. And I guess there's no reason to really change at this point, other than, much like you guys, I'm just really excited about tech in general and a big fan of DJI cameras. But that alone is not gonna push me over the edge to pick up the Action 6, at least not yet. So what do you guys think? Are you gonna pick up the Action 6? Are you pumped about it? Are you worried you might be let down? Or you already have it? If you've already got the camera, and you're in a different country than I am here in the US, let me know what you're thinking about it so far. I'd love to hear it. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. As always, I appreciate you joining. Guys, as always, until next time, go make something rad. See ya.